braiding, you're going to take some braid hair. I say for these tapered braids, about a finger-sized piece. So you want like a good amount of hair to get a nice thick braid at the top. And once you take a section of hair, you're going to pull it on the ends. You can also divide it in the middle and do this, and that basically tapers the ends. You can pull it as much as you want to get like a really good taper. And that taper is gonna just look really nice at the end of your braid, to where you have just like this really nice fat at the top or thick at the top, and then it goes all the way down into a really nice taper. So I'm gonna show you on my kind of makeshift little thing here, how to start the braid. So what I have is a section of hair. This is about how much hair you would have. Now if you have really thin hair, you could put a braid on about half of that much, but you don't want too much less than that. So I'm going to take my section and I'm going to divide it into half. Now what I do is I actually put 1/2 over my wrist like this. It just kind of like hangs there. And then what I do is I start the braid just by looping that around, so it's making a third section. I pull that one under, then I hold that down with my thumb, and I take this section, and I'm going to actually pull the hair that's on the head, of course the natural hair, in with that braid hair, so that you have 3 sections of equal size, if that makes sense. I don't know if we can like zoom in anymore. I guess we can't really zoom in anymore on that right now, but I'll show you when we're done. So then you're just gonna have your 3 sections, and you can kind of see how you just braid it. You keep braiding from that point on, and that braid is nice and thick. Again, it's more like finger size. It's a little bigger than what would be a typical pencil-sized box braid. And some clients just like the bigger braids or the tapered braids, because if they're larger at the scalp, that means, you know, if the braids are close together, you're not going to see as much scalp. And especially for people that have fair skin or light skin or mixed, maybe would want to have the braids a little either closer together or a little wider at the top, so that you don't see as much scalp showing in between the braids, especially if there's a lot of contrast between the color of the hair and the color of the scalp. So you can see already that that braid is really tapering. And as you go, if you find that one section has, like this one's a little bit fatter at this point towards the bottom, just a minute honey, just a minute, mommy's coming, then you can just divide a little bit off of that fatter section and thank you, and put it in with one of the thinner sections and just keep going. This is the end of the day, so Langston's kind of not having this tutorial right now. And then you're just going to braid that all the way to the end, and it's going to be a nice skinny braid at the end, and it will be very tapered. Okay, so I'm back, and we're just gonna kind of finish this braid. So you braid it all the way to the end. You can leave some hair out at the end because it's so tapered. That hair is going to be nice and wispy, and it's not gonna tangle or anything like that. Like it's gonna wrap around buns really nicely and that kind of thing. So once you're done with that, usually I actually clip the ends together just with these kind of clips, and just to hold it until, and in the video you'll see like I clip a lot of the ends of the braids together, and that just holds it to the end for when we're gonna dip it in boiling water. So hold on one more time. The braid, so it's just like really nice and tapered all the way down to the end. So I hope that this video helps with just making tapered box braids. Again, you don't want to add all the braid hair at once, because it's going to create kind of like a big bump or knot on the end of at the root. So just go ahead and part your sections. When you're parting the hair, I use this kind of a comb, and I just use this part to like make the little squares of hair. And then once you have your little section of hair, you know, that's what I was doing on the chair to make the braid with. This is just my leave out of my weave here, so I'm not trying to mess up my hair right now. But yeah, it's the end of the day. I just wanted to go ahead and get this video done and out there. So the 7 steps again are: clean and detangle your hair, then go ahead and part it into the sections, the squares, or if you want triangles. Pull the braid hair to taper the ends. That's very important, because if you don't taper the ends, it's just going to unravel. Even if you dip it, it's just going to look chunky, and it's not going to be nice to pull around a bun or make a nice tapered ponytail. Then you're gonna divide that tapered hair into a finger-sized piece per braid, and then take that finger-sized piece, divide it into half, and half of that goes on around the first rotation. Add the second half on the second rotation, and braid it to the end. And then when you're all done, get your nice pot of boiling water and go ahead and dip those ends, and you'll come out with, you know, a nice tapered braid. And you can braid the ends of the braids all together, like 10 braids or so on the, you know, if you braid the ends together, it'll make kind of like a nice wave pattern. So I'll show that at the end. If the braids are thinner, then you might want to do more like 12 to 15 braids. But for thicker braids, you just want to braid about 10 together. And what I do is I braid about 10 together, and then I braid it halfway, because it's so tapered, it'll make too little of a curl at the end. Like if you want it to be kind of like a curl that kind of gets a little bit smaller to the end, but not like teeny tiny, then I'll take those 10 braids that are braided together with the next section of 10 braids and join them, and I'll show you how I do that just in pictures. So sorry I can't do video of that right now, but you want to dip your ends just to get a nice straight tapered braid like this. That's totally easy. And then if you want to get those braided ends, just check out that picture and kind of do it about like that, and then dip them in the boiling water. Make sure that your client leans their head back from the chair, so that all that water is going to drip on the floor and not on their shoulders or back, because you definitely don't want to get anybody hurt with hot water or boiling water on their shoulders or skin or neck or anything. So be super careful with that part. Otherwise, it's pretty straightforward and easy. Let me know how you do with your tapered box braids.